Greetings, programs, and welcome to a review of Transformers Jetfire. However, as nice and good as this figure is, we're not going to look at this one. We're, in fact, going to look at the brand new-ish, fairly new, Transformers Siege Commander Class Jetfire / Skyfire, whichever name you prefer. I've been both really excited and really dreading this review just because of how insanely massive this guy is. Like, they made a new size class for him. So, instead of, Commander Class just being like a slightly bigger than Legends guy, no, it's this absolute monstrosity. So, take a look at the jet mode here. There's quite a bit of stuff to look at in the jet mode straight off, because he's got a landing gear, rolling wheels. They do all fold up. This one can be a little tricky to get out, especially if you're don't have fingernails. But if you kind of push back here on the back of it, you can usually get to flip open. And there you saw one of the. Well, not one of, probably the only flaw with this guy. I'm just going to leave that in. I have no fingernails right now, so yeah, I can't get that out. But his only real flaw is these parts right here on the side. These don't like to stay tabbed in the jet mode. If you look on the side, things aren't quite 100% straight. So I think they could have done a tiny bit better work on that, but otherwise it's great. There's these 4 handles on him you can flip out, which are very interesting little gimmick, because you can actually have just a whole bunch of guys holding on to him while he's flying around. Turn Jetfire into a dropship. And I've seen a lot of pictures. People will actually, pry this part open because it doesn't normally open. But I guess there's actually, seats molded in this back section you can fit Titan Master size guys in, which it's weird that I guess if there's stuff molded in there for them that they didn't actually make it so you could put them in there, but oh well. Because in the cartoon, this guy was... he actually defected from the Decepticons to the Autobots. He does have a rotating insignia here. Mine was actually kind of messed up from the factory, where the paint had missed the bottom half and was all down here. So if you see a little bit of roughness there, I think whatever I used to take off the red paint splatter there might have been a little too harsh for the plastic, but it's fine. And then I managed to get the... I managed to almost perfectly match the color to repaint it, but I actually do tend to leave him in Decepticon anyway, just because, why not? And if you come up here, fold down the nose cone, and open this up, there's this weird, just really random piece of plastic that can be a little tricky to get out. I really don't know what this is for. It has a peg on the back so you can stick it onto stuff, but it's there, and it's not really even mentioned in the directions, but whatever. And then if you take it out, you see that little groove there. You can actually take your Titan Masters and put them in here too, and they won't. The back of their leg won't peg into that groove, but it will just sit there perfectly, and so you can have Apeface flying Jetfire. Let's go ahead and dump him out here, and shove the brick back in. So overall, the jet mode on this guy, it's a little gappy here and there. You can kind of see how the arms are going to work on the underside, but I don't really display my, jets upside down. Then, Something else he comes with is this guy actually comes with a whole bunch of effects parts, which are, one of the big gimmicks in Siege. So, all over the guy, there's these little nubs like that. You can put these, just put these over it, make it look like he's getting shot or something. Or in the back here, the ports here, you can easily go ahead and put these in, and you can even stack these up to, just keep it going, give him like this giant, jet thruster going out on. So, and you get enough, you could do that for both of them, but, these are known for being like some of the better effects parts. This one's a little floppy on mine, but I'm sure I could just stick in some hot water and, train it back to straight, so no big deal. I'm not sure how well it'll show on the camera, but there is a nice little bit of fade where these are, like sort of a darker orange at the bottom, and then they turn to almost a yellow on the edges. So, these are already pretty cool. And then on top of it all, if you fold these down, he comes with this giant pile of stuff that you can put together into sort of like an attack drone kind of thing. This is going to do a lot of stuff for him, but primarily while he's in the jet mode, you'll just take this peg right here and drop it down on his back like that. And so he's just got this giant, kind of armament thing going on. Now, I will say, just one thing they did on this figure that bugs me a little bit. It's so cool that he's got, the changeable faction symbol here. But this, that's clearly going to form like his armor and stuff, it's just got an Autobot symbol on it. And you can't flip it around. So, no matter how you want to display this guy, he turns into an Autobot when you put him into his armor. And, so really quick, we'll just tear this thing apart. So you just got guns everywhere. If you want, you could even pull these apart. And they have little notches right there that will hold them in place while it's like this, which is nice. And the way these attach is actually kind of weird, because you actually take this little fin, and there's a slot molded just that shape of the fin. So I don't normally see them doing that kind of thing. Usually you get, just a peg or, a little, like, kind of flat peg or whatever you would call that. And on the bottom, you've got these. These actually peg in twice, because there's a little peg hole back here that goes into. And then the either edge of these can go into the side right there of this gun. Now, these are actually mirrored, just in that the peg, the little effect peg, is on opposite sides of them, but doesn't, for putting it in, doing anything with it, doesn't matter which one is which, is nice. Again, I like things not being too specific. And down here, you come down, you've got this massive, like, double barrel blaster thing going on. Then you can actually take this, split it in half, fold this one up, and it'll center the handle, on this one instead of in the middle. And then on this one, you just flip down its lone handle. So he can either dual wield, or you can combine them into one giant gun, which is what I prefer to do. And it's just, tab, slot, tab, slot. And they do hold together really, really well. And, you can take your effects parts and pop them in here. Do all the things, so. And then this part here, you will then flip it open at the bottom, which can be a little tricky to do. And you've got your helmet. So, lot of parts on this thing, and you can take most of these, there's like these weird little slots right here. You can fit any peg holes over that, put guns there. You can tab a gun in on the underside of the wing here. You can put this weird blaster down here. You can, a bunch of different ways you can arm this guy up in, all of his modes, which is pretty cool. And for sake of time on the video, I'm not going to do it, but another nice thing to do is get a 6-shot, because 6-shot is almost the exact same color scheme as Jetfire. So you can just rip this guy to bits and have all kinds of extra accessories for him. So, personal recommendation there, as 6-shot falls over. So, I'm going to try to get him transformed here on camera. We'll see how well that goes. Alright, so to transform him, he does basically transform in 2 halves, which is kind of nice because it makes it a little bit easier to mess with. So, I'm going to start with the back section, the legs and everything first. And unfortunately, you start with the hardest part, trying to separate these out, because they're pegged, this part is pegged into here, and then there's like a little tab coming down from this, going into there. And so you have to just kind of get multiple things to disconnect all at once. Sometimes you can kind of get this part to come up a little bit. But you just kind of have to wiggle things around until eventually they pop free. Then you'll push that little window down, and this whole section will shift forward and get out of your way. So then you can come back here. You've got a double hinge on the inside there that will come down. Then you can unpeg this. So it tabs in right there for the jet mode. But get this to all flip around. You see these tabs here, they'll go right there. And flip out his feet. And right now I like to try to break the ankle free. These ankles like really lock in, so you get a great mighty snap when you undo them. Then, same thing on the other side here. Go ahead and, untab that. Fold out the double hinge. Make sure it goes all the way, and it'll kind of tab in to the leg, right under the knee there. Flip this out. Open up the feet. Which is all much easier to do if you have fingernails. Or, say, a guitar pick. I don't use spudgers. I use guitar picks. But, there you go. You've got his legs. And the lower body all dealt with. So, if I can shift up almost enough. You're going to grab these, untab them. They peg in at 2 points down here, and then right up here at the side of the cockpit. So you'll untab those, just kind of get them out of the way. Then you're going to want to pull this piece just ever so slightly forward to untab it. You can see that peg in there. And flip it out. Same thing on the other side. Then you're gonna fold the nose cone in like that. Fold these parts forward. Then fold all of this down. And it'll just kind of, everything will just, peg in and fit in. Flip the head around. Then you'll grab these, and you want to make sure they pop outwards a little bit before you do this part, and then they'll clip in like that. Then you'll fold this little piece forward, and there's a very tight double ratchet there that will extend out and become the rest of the arm. So, do that again on this one. I'll try to keep it in shot so you can kind of see there. Again, dealing with a robot this big, it's very hard to keep things in shot. Then you're just going to pull this piece slightly back, reach in here, fold out the fist, fold that in, make sure you keep this folded against the peg there, and there, the hole there, I guess, and then there's a peg here that'll pop in there. It's not the tightest connection, unfortunately, but it does its job. It's not going to just, fall apart sitting on your shelf or something, at least, which that's the part that I care about. So, same thing on the other side. And then, let's deal with the wings really quick last here. There's a little piece right here that will flip down. Then you'll flip all of his, flaps and ailerons or whatever they are. I can never remember. Flip those up and under. Then this will double hinge back, and there's a slot right here. They'll go right over this tab. You can flip these pegs down to just go completely flush, but I'm going to leave them out. But you can fold those away if you want. So, same thing on the other side. Flip this down, flip this up, flip that around, and then go ahead and flip the wings up here. And there you have Jetfire looking the wrong way in robot mode. And he is massive. Best sense of size I can give you. Here's Overlord. And he's just pathetic. So, when I heard this guy was going to be Commander class, a new, bigger size class, I'm like, oh yeah, he might have an inch or something on, the leader figures or something. No, he dwarfs the leader figures. He is insane, and I absolutely love it. So, in this mode, he's got a couple other things going on. You can still, flip the faction symbol around if you want. While it's a little tricky to get the light lined up right, he does actually have light piped eyes, which actually goes through this little spot right here. It looks black on the camera, but that is actually clear plastic. Goes all the way through to the eyes. Tons upon tons of ratchets everywhere for all the movement. And as you can see, sometimes if you move certain things the right way, it will untransform him here and there. That happens with Transformers in general, but just because this guy's joints are so tight, it can be a little more obvious. But yeah, his arms go out all the way and even, like one click up. He does have a little bit past 90 on the elbow because of the double jointed ratchet there. Swivel at the fist, or at the wrist, I guess. Another cool thing about this guy is you see the peg in here for holding his guns. When you open the hand up, it folds away. So, yeah, he actually only has the peg for the gun when you need it. Which, for this being just a Hasbro mass market figure, that's kind of incredible. Nothing too special to speak of at the head. He can look up and down, spin around. It's got, a couple different hinges there you can mess with. Side skirts do flip out, so you can move the leg out all the way. This is like one of the only joints that is not a ratchet. And on mine, when I first got him, he was a little loose, but just a screw right there in the back of the hip joint, I guess, or whatever, tightened up, and it was no problem after that. It is ratcheted back and forth. Can't go back super far because the thrusters get in the way, but you can kick, you know, almost all the way forward. Camera does not like focusing on this much white. Knee goes all the way back, full 90 degrees. Real, you know, full 90 degree ankle tilt if you need, because, you know, as we all know, this is the most sensible pose to put your figures in. Just do that. It almost looks like the start of a base mode, actually. But, you know, even with that one joint not being a ratchet, he does still have, like, really, really good posability. You know, he holds... I get him to hold quite a few poses pretty well. Just keeping him on display in my office. So, forgot to flip that little port out. So, back to all his pile of armaments here. We're going to go ahead and get him all geared up. So, first thing, we're going to take these two little ones, and I'm just going to do this via the instructions, but clearly he's got ports and pegs and stuff all over him. But according to the directions, you're going to put these two up here on those little tabs I left flipped out on the wings. On the back here, we're going to do that thing where you take these peg holes and put them on these kind of weird oval tabs. Do my best to try to keep this all in shot. Then there's a few places you can put these. Me, myself, I like putting them on the outside of his arms. But they do also look good if you put them down here on, you know, side of his thigh, or side of his calf, I guess. But I like them there. Then there's these little tabs right here on these little sections of the chest. If you can get these to flip out, they can be kind of tight, so have fun. There we go. On the back of this main piece, you'll see these two slots here. These will slot over these and become the chest piece, which can be a little tricky to get this all lined up, but use it to your... These don't stay pegged in all that well. Use that to your advantage just to maneuver things and get it all plugged in. You know, once it's there, pop it back on. Again, it holds fine for the most part. Pardon the frogs still living in my throat. And then you'll take the mask, and this little, this kind of weird oblong shape here will actually go into his forehead here. This little section is actually spring-loaded, so that's going to push back while you slide the mask on. And there you go. And, of course, we'll go ahead and give him his giant double-barrel shotgun blaster thing. And just let him stand here and be an absolute boss. One little downside, the wrists don't peg in super tight. And the wrist swivel is kind of loose. So I'll just have to tighten that up somehow. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do that. Not a big deal. But this guy still looks just absolutely incredible. And he's actually the only figure I've seen that it looks somewhat reasonable when you give him one of these, you know, like Battle Master, Micro Master, you know, whatever, Master guys. When you combine them into their weapon mode, it actually kind of works on him just because he is so big that this is a reasonably sized gun. Of course, it falls apart as I try to put it in his hand because the hand pegs on this guy are incredibly tight. Anything you put in, you're going to have to work it in there. And these guys don't like to hold together particularly well, but either way, you know, he looks just insane. So, you know, if you get him, you might want to, you know, you'll have to make sure that you tighten this joint up, maybe, so this, you know, the in and out of his thigh isn't too loose, but otherwise, yeah, this is one of the most incredible figures I have ever messed with, and I highly recommend, if you are able to pick him up, just do so. So, this has been ArcNeo. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.